MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We all know this already. It does not matter. Really, it does not matter who the host is on this show. That is for sure. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Anyways, today is Wednesday, August the 3rd of 2022, day 215th of the year, and only 150 days left to go. Yeah, that's it, 150 to make it through the rest of this shit show. That is for sure. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration in Radio Big. I guess that's kind of the way that it works out. So let's start talking right away about all kinds of stuff that is going on inside of the world here. Just in case you are, maybe I should do this slightly different on this lovely morning in talking about what is going on here. Maybe we should do it that way, or should we just get directly into it? I never know. I never know where to start, because I kind of feel like we know some things and then we don't know others. And so then it's like, should I make some assumptions here in regards of moving forward? Or should it just be, hey, I shouldn't assume anything and we go from there? This, so if you're looking on the screener, that's my name down here. That's who I am. This is the show. This is where we hang. And that's kind of where we move and groove from. So that's kind of the portion there. The other side of the equation, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. You can take a listen to us at Safety FM or Safety.fm or SafetyFM.com, whichever is easier, and RadioBig.fm. So that's kind of the fun stuff. And then if you want to do the visual radio, SafetyFM.com/visual radio. And I'm going to tell you, before I get too far into it, because I don't want it to be the elephant in the room that, that we don't talk about. So if you remember, on Friday, I said that if you take a look over the weekend, I might have some information for you that the website was going to be updated, safetyfm.io, with a potential in-person event that would be taking place. Well, I have to tell you, it was a big busto in regards of me telling you that, because guess what happened over the weekend? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I will tell you, the person that's kind of, leading the charge there was, could not be reached due to some particular reasons. And I'm sure that he'll go into that when he has an opportunity to discuss it. But I will leave it at that. So that's why nothing's there. I am hoping, and the hope is big, that I will have something for you by the end of the week. So I will keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully you will do the same. And then we will have something moving from there. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about that right away, for you wouldn't think that I was just straight up ignoring it. And then some questions came about what was going on yesterday. Well, we can talk about it here if you want to. But sometimes you get information that occurs and you just can't move forward with certain things that are going on. And yesterday just ended up being one of those days in regards of things like that happening. We can probably discuss that at another time. Let's just not talk about it right now as we speak. Anyways, let's start talking right away about some of the things that are trending inside of the world of the news and the media and all that fun stuff. So take a listen to this. Tiger Woods was trending on Tuesday after reports that he turned down millions to join Live Golf League. More about that. We can talk about it if you care. MLB trade deadline landed on Twitter's top 10 on Tuesday as baseball fans kept up with their which players ended up where. Twitter at TaylorNation13 asked followers to make a list of that feels like August to them. Examples included pink skies, going to the beach, cardigans, wine, reading a good book, and by the lake and movies at the drive-in. So there you go. And then last but not least was Roadhouse was trending yesterday because there had been some new casting taking place when it comes to the world of Roadhouse. If you remember that old Patrick Swayze movie, because that's exactly what that is. So I don't know, something to think about if you were looking at some of that. But listen to this real quick. I'm going to tell you this part. Jake Gyllenhaal is set to star in the Roadhouse reboot on Amazon Prime Video. The 1989 cult classic Patrick Swayze plays James Dalton, a bouncer that hired to clean up a rowdy Missouri. In the reboot, Gyllenhaal will play a former UFC fighter who takes a job as a bouncer at a chaotic roadhouse in the Florida Keys, according to Amazon Studios. Now, if you remember this, and I mean, this was not so long ago, but you do remember the professional fighter by the name of Ronda Rousey. Now she's a sports entertainer, but she was a professional fighter and had left UFC and was kind of going, or was still in the UFC, but it was been bouncing back and forth about doing some stuff in Hollywood. And she was set to star in that movie. And all of a sudden, boom, out of the blue, everything was moving, and then it just kind of died out. So I'm not sure what the hell happened there, but man, does that storyline sound very similar to what you would think that thing would go like. Anyways, that's not important right now. So let me explain to you how we do our show here. If you are new, we talk about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of the way of the world that we play around in here. And then from that particular portion on, we talk about, well, everything that we want in between. You can interact with the show by just going to call-in radio as we discussed earlier. And then from that particular portion, I will come back, talk to you a little bit more about everything that is going on to the world. We put a giant bow on it, and then we call it a day. That's kind of the way that it goes around here. So if you're inclined on coming out, hanging out, and doing all that kind of fun stuff, let's do that, because that sounds like a fun time. So with that being said, let's get the news started right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. The Chinese military says it plans to conduct drills around Taiwan now that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has left the island. A post on Chinese state media says live fire drills will begin Thursday in 5 sections of the South China Sea and the Pacific Islands surrounding Taiwan. China has expressed anger over Pelosi's trip to Taiwan and has said it threatens relations with the U.S. The right to access abortion care is going to remain in the Kansas state constitution. Voters there on Tuesday became the first state in the nation to decide on a ballot measure dealing with abortion access after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
What we've seen in Kansas is that this is personal. And during this campaign, again and again, Kansans would talk to us, and they would also talk to their friends and family about voting in this election because abortion had somehow touched their lives.
The question was whether to strip abortion rights from the state constitution, which would have likely led to the legislature passing a statewide ban. Instead, a 2019 Kansas Supreme Court ruling that residents in the state have the right to terminate a pregnancy will stay in place. Catastrophic flooding has Kentucky reeling. Republican Senator Rand Paul tells Fox News that the storms have taken a toll on his state.
We're devastated for our friends and many families who I know personally up in eastern Kentucky. Nearly 40 people have perished in the flooding.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says most of the missing have been accounted for. However, he says the heat will be the next challenge the Commonwealth faces as cleanup efforts go on. The state has set up nearly a dozen cooling centers in areas without power due to the floods. Former White House counsel Pat Cipollone might have to talk to a federal grand jury investigating events that led to last year's Capitol riot. The New York Times says it's unclear which jury has subpoenaed Cipollone to testify. One grand jury is investigating efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Another focused on the events of January 6th. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. China is ramping up its military activity around Taiwan in response to the visit of the US House Speaker. Nancy Pelosi has praised Taiwan for its self-governance, despite China considering it a breakaway nation. The Kremlin has accused the US of having a direct role in the war taking place in Ukraine, and labor organizations in New Delhi are protesting against insufficient work and delayed payments under India's Employment Guarantee Plan.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
After Republicans first blocked a veterans exposure bill, the Senate is now sending it to President Biden's desk.
On this vote, the yeas are 86, the nays are 11. The motion is agreed to.
The PACT Act passed Tuesday evening with potential to expand benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs to almost 4 million veterans. The bill looks to add extra care for vets who suffered illnesses due to exposure to toxins, including from burn pits during their military service. Biden is expected to sign the bill. 3 civil cases seeking to hold former President Trump liable for injuries suffered by U.S. Capitol Police officers during last year's riot will proceed. Brian Shook reports.
A federal judge rejected Trump's attempt to dismiss the cases by claiming his actions during the riot fell within his presidential responsibilities. Filed in January, 4 officers sued Trump for damages relating to their physical and emotional injuries during the riot. They argued his actions incited violence among his supporters.
California's largest wildfire of the season is now blamed for 4 deaths. Authorities confirmed Tuesday that 2 more bodies have been found along the path of the massive McKinney fire. Earlier this week, 2 bodies were discovered in a burned-out car, with the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office saying it appeared they were trying to flee the raging inferno. CAL FIRE says the blaze remains at 0% containment after burning through more than 56,000 acres. Robinhood is laying off workers. The financial services company announced Tuesday its workforce would be reduced by approximately 23%. Trey Thomas with more.
The move is blamed on a number of factors, including inflation and what Robinhood calls a broad crypto market crash. The news comes as the company released its second quarter earnings report a day ahead of schedule.
And on Wall Street, Dow futures are gaining slightly after the 3 major averages notched a second day of losses. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
The Work Y Summit is an interactive 2-day gathering that will bring like-hearted leaders together like never before as we discuss ways to better align HR, safety, and operations around one common goal: creating the future of work together. Day 1 will focus on self-performance with talks with leading experts on how to live and lead at our best. Day 2 will focus on organizational performance with discussions on what we can do together to break down silos and foster action. The Work Summit will take place at Coker Tire Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Thursday, September the 22nd and Friday, September the 23rd. For more information, go to workzbe.com/Y Summits. That's WORKZBE.com, Y Summit. Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, often imitated but never duplicated. That is for sure. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. I have to tell you, I was listening to a show recently, and it was amazing to me because I listened to like the first 5 minutes to realize that, well, I didn't even listen to the first 5 minutes. It's a lie. It's probably the first 2 minutes to come to the realization on how they had stole the direct copy of my intro for this show. And then I got to the end of the show and then realized they had stolen a direct copy of my outro. And I was like, geez, man. Geez. I just don't even get it anymore. It's like lift. And then you go to their website and it's exactly the same colors that we use for Safety FM. I was just like, what the hell's going on? But I guess everybody has to do their own thing. Whatever works. I guess because we've tested the market and it's worked. Thank you. I guess imitation should be a flattery to me, but I think not. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue in regards as we are talking about all the things that are going on inside of the world of the news. State Department warns of potential anti-American violence after the killing that we talked about yesterday. The U.S. Department is warning about the potential anti-American violence after the strike that killed the al-Qaeda leader over the weekend. Mark Mayfield has more info.
The alert that was issued says current information suggests terrorist organizations are continuing to plan attacks against U.S. interests in multiple regions across the globe, and they may include things such as suicide operations or kidnappings. President Biden announced on Monday that a U.S. drone strike took out the successor to Osama bin Laden in Kabul, Afghanistan on Sunday. No civilian casualties were reported in the strike, but a Taliban spokesman said such actions are a repetition of the failed experiences of the past 20 years and are against the interests of the United States of America, Afghanistan, and the region. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one, sharing the information of what is going on. So take a listen to this. I'm just going to throw this in here to see if we can lighten up the mood a little bit here. But Taco Bell's Mexican Pizza is returning mid-September. Taco Bell's Mexican Pizza is set to make another return next month. Tasty details here in a few. Because if you try to go pick up another one since they returned it the first time, it's sold out, baby.
This comes more than 3 months after the popular menu item sold out after it was originally brought back. Taco Bell said the Mexican pizza is here to stay as a permanent item on the menu. It makes its return to restaurants on September the 15th. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Why do we have to wait so long for the Mexican pizza? That's a good question. Anyways, House GOP pushes small business boost bill. A Republican lawmaker is pushing for a new bill that is aimed at boosting startup companies and small businesses across the nation. Mark Mayfield reports.
On Tuesday, House Representative Rick Allen of Georgia introduced the Startup Act, which aims to expand access to training programs and resources for entrepreneurs. Allen says the legislation will lead to more jobs, grow the economy, and help current and future entrepreneurs realize the American dream. The SBA says that small businesses in the U.S. comprise nearly half of all private sector employees as of 2017. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one. Anyways, a Mississippi Airbnb listing has been yanked from the platform because it was marketed as a cabin where slaves once slept. But wait, the current owner took control of the property just a month ago and says the building in question has never been used in that manner, despite the listing saying otherwise. He said instead it was a doctor's office. Regardless, Airbnb instituting a policy to shut down any other similar listing that describes profiting off of slavery in any way. So there you go. Anyways, the airline staffing crunch is hitting particularly hard across the pond, where British Airways has shut down all new reservations next week. A spur-of-the-moment booking are more common in Europe, where travel within the continent is much less than in the United States. And it is common for summer vacation. British Airways stopped the new reservation to accommodate rebooking for thousands of travelers who had their flights canceled this week. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, authorities say that a wildfire in Utah broke out after a man tried to kill a spider with a lighter, sparking across about 60-acre blaze. Hold on, you tried to kill a spider and you started a 60-acre blaze? That's some numbers there. The suspect was busted with marijuana in his backpack. Fortunately, the fire didn't destroy any building or cause any human harm. So really, who can you blame this guy for trying to kill a spider with fire? I mean, it's a weird thing. So how did you determine that it was a guy trying to kill a spider with fire? That's number one. Number two, how did the marijuana take play into the whole thing? Because, I'm always curious about the marijuana aspect of the whole thing, because there's some conversations to probably be had there. And anyways, let's talk about this. Meanwhile, a video of Florida alligator is making the rounds, in which its spooky animal appears to have a knife within its head. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission sent officials to investigate, which reportedly captured it and euthanized the gator who stabbed it. And why? Well, that is going to remain a mystery. A video of a botched convenience store robbery shows that the owner swiftly pulled out a shotgun and firing it at the perpetrator, who himself was carrying an AR-15. The suspect yells that the owner shot him in his arm before escaping in the getaway car. The owner then reportedly had a heart attack from which he is recovering. I mean, this sounds like a cluster F all across the board. If you really start thinking about it, just think about these things for just one moment. Anyways, let's talk about something else. Americans are holding more household debt than ever. Increased mortgage rates and home prices are to blame, which accounted for 2/3 of the rise of debt over the last 3 months. Credit card debt is also up by 13% year over year, making it the steepest bump in the last 2 decades. All told, Americans hold about $16.2 trillion. Yes, in debt. That's nearly about $50,000 per person. Listen, if you're having some debt issues, I'm going to tell you about some Financial Peace University from the Dave Ramsey Group. Definitely worth taking a listen to if you're so inclined to do so. That is for sure. Anyways, it is about 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and bring in some Johnny Smalls and let him tell us about the Market Beat.
Here's a Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. Equity markets held steady at near-term highs for a second day despite signs of weakening in the economy. The Little Watch JOLTS report, a measure of job availability within the economy, contracted in June by the second fastest pace on record and to the lowest level in nearly a year as businesses reel in their spending plans. And it's only the latest in a string of reports that suggest peaking within the economy and the onset of lingering stagnation, if not deepening recession. Later this week, a report from the ISM ISM and the non-farm payroll figures could move the market as well. The market is expecting job gains to slow on a month-to-month basis, and the figure could come in weaker than expected, which might be good news in the long run. A slowdown in hiring could help ease inflationary pressures in wages and consumer spending and get the economy back on the right track. If not, the JOLTS report could be the first signal of a worsening economic crisis caused by rampant inflation. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know exactly what is going on. Let's give a little bit more of a breakdown there. The Dow lost about 402 points on Tuesday to close at 32,396. The S&P 500 added about 27 points to close at 4,091, while the NASDAQ added about 20 points. West Texas Intermediate remains well under $100 a barrel at $94.19, and Brent crude remains hovering right around the $100 mark. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $4.18 on Tuesday. Bitcoin tumbled on Tuesday, losing about $230, making it a $23,000 even Steven there. And there was about 2,127 flights within, into, and out of the United States that were delayed on Tuesday, and about 109 cancellations. It sounds like Tuesday is the least risk day in regards of going out for a flight based on some of the numbers that we talk about around here. I mean, think about it for a moment, and it will all make sense as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the charts, the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. So coming in at the number 5 spot in the no, let's do the fiction first. With the fiction wins, let's go Ugly Love. At number 4, Verity. At number 3, Portrait of an American Woman. At number 2, It Ends With Us. And at the number 1 spot, Where the Crawdads Sing. I have to tell you, Colleen Hoover has 3 books in the top 5 in the fiction category. Let's go to the other side real quick. According to the nonfiction category, it goes something like this. At number 5, Find Me. At number 4, Happy Go Lucky. At number 3, Thank You for Your Servitude. At number 2, Dirtbag, Massachusetts. And at the number 1 spot, again, in the nonfiction category, The Body Keeps the Score. That book comes in, goes out, stays within the top 5. It's always amazing to see what's going on with that book because we see it on the chart pretty often. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world here. Take a listen to this. Biden to address access to reproductive health care. President Biden will deliver remarks on Wednesday securing access to reproductive health care. Here's more information from Mike Mayfield.
He's set to address the first meeting of the Interagency Task Force on Reproductive Health Care Access. He'll do so virtually as he's still in isolation with COVID. The event comes after Kansas on Tuesday night became the first state in the nation to vote on an abortion measure since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Voters rejected an amendment that would have stripped the right to access abortion care from the state constitution. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of that section. So let's see what else is going on inside of this world here. So listen to this. Kit Harington, Alfie Allen to appear at the first ever GOT fan convention. Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about Game of Thrones in the middle of this show? Okay, skip that. Nobody wants to know that. Anyways, Biden promotes a passage to the big semiconductor bill. President Biden is promoting the recent passage of the big semiconductor bill known as CHIPS. Take a listen.
This bill funds the entire semiconductor supply chain.
So Biden spoke virtually from the White House and said that the bill will help manufacturing by boosting domestic production of computer chips. He's in isolation at the White House again due to the COVID rebound. He called the computer chips the building blocks of the modern economy. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer called computer chips as the beating heart of numerous devices and the motor vehicles that people use every day. President Biden says the big semiconductor bill will help the U.S. manufacturing by boosting domestic product of computer chips.
Investment in the CHIPS and Science Act is going to create more than 1 million construction jobs over the next 5 years. That's not even counting the job of making the chips.
Biden called the computer chips the building blocks of modern economy.
This bill makes it clear the world's leading innovation will happen in America. We will both invent in America and make it in America.
Richard Whitmore says computer chips aren't only in cars.
Chips have a widespread impact. They're the beating heart of countless devices and machines that we use every single day.
So there you go. That is what is going on that side of the equation. Maybe it's time to start moving and grooving and talking about some other things. So let's do that thing that we talk about. Not sometimes, but all the times in between all of them. Yeah, the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time. Currently 31 minutes past. You know how this goes. We talk about some stuff that is going on. We talk about some of the stuff that should be happening. We talk about some of the stuff that, well, makes you wonder how things go. So take a listen to this because I want to get your opinion for sure on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. And I mean, I don't even know how far to go with some of this because we can get very philosophical. You know, we can tie into some philosophy here. We can get, we can become scholars and talk about all kinds of fun stuff if we wanted to do so. But here's the gig. I mean, as we talk this morning, as we hang out, as we do the things that we get to do together, I think it's important to talk about this next aspect. And let's talk about your mind for a moment, and let's talk about some of the stuff that's related to reality and how things actually work. Because I'm always kind of amazed with some of these aspects on some of the things that we do. But I want you to think about this real quick, and it's kind of an easy process to do. I want you to think about something that has made you very, very, very upset recently. Do you have something? Does something come to mind? Now, when you start thinking about it, does it make your blood boil just a tiny bit? And I mean, I'm not really saying really boil, but it kind of gets you upset. It can be an argument with a friend, a spouse, an interaction with something that, didn't go too well. But think about this for a moment. So do you got it? So there is probably either a few different scenarios that are going on. Either you're getting upset now thinking about it again, or you're thinking about some stuff that you should have said that you didn't say, or you should have done that you didn't do. Make sense so far? Now, let's use the other side of the equation, and I want you to think about something that has made you extremely happy as of recent. You got it? Now, how happy are you? Now, think about the happiness that occasion occurred for you. I like how your brain thinks about it and how happy you were. Got that so far? Cool. So let's talk about this. Let's kind of go through some of this together. Now, if you take either one of these and you make them interchangeable and you think about it, did your problem get worse on the one that made you mad as you thought about it? Or did it stay the same as it was in the first place? Okay, now let's go into the other one and think about the one that made you not too super excited, the one that made you happy. Like, how do these things work? And here's where we have problems. And here's sometimes some of the things that we don't think about. And I'm going to tell you for a moment, you can turn around and look at this and go, well, how does this have to do with anything with what we do for work? Well, I'm going to bring up this little chart here because I think this might be the easiest way to do this. And I want you to take a look at this. This right here is saying, because for the people that are on the radio, which that's who we normally cater to, for the people that are on the radio, it says this: reality plus the mind. And it gives you a little circle there of what reality is. It gives you a very small picture of what a mind is, and then the perception of reality. This is kind of what the chart lays out as. And then it turns around and it says at the very bottom, reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. And this is something that was quoted by Plato. And I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to think about what I just said. If reality is created by the mind, we can change our reality by changing our mind. Why is that not portion of stuff that we tell people to focus on? Listen, I can tell you that I've been to events where somebody won the number one spot, and I'm talking about a martial arts event that I went to. And the guy was pissed that he didn't win in X amount of time. The guy that came in at number 2 that technically lost to the number 1 guy was super excited that he landed number 2. And sometimes these are the things that we tend to forget. It's exactly on how we perceive it. Listen, if right now somebody gave you a brand new car to you, so it could be a certified used car, but it's a new car to you and you were having problems with the car, well, are you excited about it or not? I mean, and this is sometimes where we struggle. We have this mindset, not all of us, but some of us do, that thinks that some of the things that are out there are out to get us, that they're against us. That's not always the case. So imagine if you took the time today, and I know that we talk about a lot of stuff here, to refocus on how you think about the world, on how you think about reality. I mean, I guess I wear shirts that say it because I really don't talk about it. But reality is information, and information is reality. Just think about this real quick. If you kind of tie it all into a nice little snazzy. The other thing that you have to think is when we get into some of this information talk, where people go, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense. If information is not reality, most of the times for you to get to a certain point, you have to have the information to be able to get there. Think about this. It's kind of one of those big loops to talk about today, but I wanted there to be a piece of conversation to talk about this. Think about the reality that you're involved in. Think about the reality that you're around. And, you know, some people will go, well, that's not my reality, and talk about it in that fashion. Think about it. Perspectives from different people on how the world ties in. Reality is created in your mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Think about that today. I know. It's going to be a tough one for some, but believe me, you're going to be okay.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service Anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Okay, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. So, yeah, this one's called Mexico by Gamma Skies. Songs ready, available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, talking about that Cancun sun in Mexico. Yeah, I'm having my Mexican dream again. Yeah, I think it's time to do it. I think it's time to go back down to Mexico. Who doesn't like Mexico? Seriously. So there you go. That's what's going on right there. So yeah. So let me do this real quick. So there's people coming into the box asking if I will show that picture one more time. So let me see if I can find it again. Hopefully I don't pop up the wrong thing. So there you go. That's what it says. It says, so if you want to take a screenshot, you have the opportunity to do so right now. And yeah, I don't even know where I got this from, to be honest. I'll try to make it bigger there. So there you go. Take a look-see. If you are doing the screenshot, that's the reality. Bless the mind. So there you go. You can take a little gander of it and go from there. So, of course, it looks different on my screen than what it does on yours, so I do apologize for that. So there you go. If you wanted to take the picture, now you got it. Just edit me out. Edit my shoulders out. So there you go. So let's start talking about some other things. I always tell you that I'm going to tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you, because that will never change. And let me tell you about the 9888 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline is 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. If you want to find out more information, all you have to do is go to 9888lifeline.org. That's 9888lifeline.org, or text the word TALK to 988, or just call 988 directly off your phone. That's the easiest way to do that. Listen, this is a subject of conversation that we should have, not sometimes, but all the times. You can get resources there. Everyone plays a role in suicide prevention. You can get help now. You can help your local center, join a network, or promote the Lifeline by just spreading the word. It's an easy way to do it. It's the fun portion to do it. Like I said, all you have to do is go to 9888lifeline.org. You can put this information anywhere that you want to share the number and share the info. Listen, you never understand how much this can help other people, even help you. Think about it. Just look at it from that particular standpoint. 9888, easiest way to get there, or 9888lifeline.org. Let's get into some more information on some things that are going on inside of this lovely, lovely world of ours. So listen, Federal Reserve officials talk inflation for future rate hikes. More interest rate hikes could be on the table if inflation soars. Lisa Taylor has more info.
Speaking to CNBC, San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly noted Americans are still dealing with the effects of high prices. She explained the Fed's job is far from done because things that were affordable 6 months ago aren't now. Meantime, the Chicago Fed president is hoping another big rate hike doesn't have to happen. The Fed has been raising interest rates over the last few months in a bid to tame soaring inflation. I'm Lisa Taylor.
Okay, thank you, Lisa Taylor, for that one. I have to tell you, I had a service provider contact me yesterday and say, hey, listen, inflation has occurred. We are raising our prices across the board by essentially 25%. And, I mean, I'll tell you, it's kind of an expensive service as is. And I was like, listen, I don't know where the hell this is happening from. It's not like we're collecting that kind of money. So I don't know. Might be time to say bye-bye. You know, and those are the things that you have to start talking about. Like, is this going to be worth keeping or not? That's the decisions you have to make. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Pleasantville, New Jersey, Ocean County prosecutors are releasing the 911 recording and video of a non-fatal officer-involved shooting that happened in the Atlantic County. Let's see. Gillette Whitehead, can be seen on a body cam footage walking out of a store with a gun in his right pocket as officers plead with him. Take a listen.
No, please. Stop. Please stop.
Police responded to reports of the gun being discharged at the Dollar General in Pleasantville back on May 24th. More than 2 hours worth of video has been made public in connection with the incident. Ocean County prosecutors are independently investigating the matter. Police can be heard pleading with the man.
Please, sir, listen. It's not worth it. It's not. Just get down. Just drop to your knees. Just drop to your knees, sir, please.
So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. What else are we seeing that is going on inside of the world? Let's talk about this real quick. A major California city could be sued for not building enough new housing. Take a listen to this one.
State Senator Scott Wiener tells The Standard that the Attorney General could sue San Francisco on a specific project, or the state could sign on to a lawsuit from a developer. Wiener says the city isn't putting in the work to build enough new units required by state law. He also called San Francisco's housing system rotten to the core. The city has until early next year to submit a plan for building 82,000 new units. Nika Magahis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Nika, for that one, letting us know what is going on there. Take a listen to this. We're going to keep it on the West Coast for a moment. San Diego County declaring public health emergency for monkeypox. With 46 cases of monkeypox in San Diego, the county is declaring a public health emergency for the virus. Jack Cronin has an update.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the county has received nearly 4,000 monkeypox vaccine doses, and the emergency declaration will help get more to San Diego.
The County of San Diego is declaring a local health emergency for monkeypox to align our efforts with the approach taken by the state of California. This will also allow us to strengthen our county's vaccination, prevention, education, and treatment initiatives, and will help our county to be able to prioritize more resources such as vaccines when they become available in greater resource, and could down the line provide additional opportunities surrounding funding.
The monkeypox vaccine is the same one used to fight smallpox, and the county has asked for at least 66,000 vaccine first doses. There have been no deaths in San Diego, and only one person has been hospitalized. I'm Jack Cronin.
Okay, thank you, Jack, for that information right there. Keeping it on the west side of the U.S., take a listen to this. 6 people died during a heat wave in Seattle. 6 people died during the heat wave in Seattle area. Brad Ford has more info.
The King County Medical Examiner says 3 people died from heat-related or hyperthermia causes, and 3 other people drowned last week. A lot of people had trouble dealing with the heat. More than 50 people were admitted to King County emergency departments for heat-related illnesses. Brad Ford, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Brad Ford, for that one. The Survivor Network of Those Abused by Priests wants an update on Maryland's investigation of child sex abuse within the Catholic Church. SNAP Maryland Director David Lawrence says the group wants answers before current Attorney General Brian Frush leaves office.
I'm worried that if this isn't completed by the time he leaves, and whoever follows him in is not going to pick up the ball.
In early 2019, Attorney General office began the investigation into the allegation of sex abuse in the state's Catholic diocese, where the church official tried to shield the predators. As a similar investigation in Pennsylvania took around 2 years compared to nearly 4 years that it had taken for Maryland. Survivors of the child sex abuse by priests are sharing their stories.
I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to stop it.
Is it someone that I might know? And I shook my head yes. And she said, would it be the priest? And I shook my head yes.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. Some stuff to talk about. Anyways, let me tell you this one before we get into the next thing. New Jersey lawmakers wants ticket prices hearing. Take a listen to this. A New Jersey lawmaker is scheduling a hearing regarding ticket industry selling practices with Bruce Springsteen 2023 tour costing a lot. Scott Pringle has more info.
If you want to see Bruce Springsteen in Newark during his tour next year, the cheapest tickets on Ticketmaster are hundreds of dollars, and that's before fees. Some are going for thousands. New Jersey State Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin is scheduling hearings into ticket pricing practices.
Working middle-class New Jerseyans are being squeezed in every which way. The notion of having tickets that are unreachable by them is something that demands our attention.
Coughlin wants to make sure no consumer protection laws are being violated. He wants details into how ticket vendors come up with their pricing and fees. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
Supposedly there are certain tickets that are going as high as $5,500. That's something to think about. Anyways, let's change subjects real quick. Let's get some Johnny Smalls in here with the market beat.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Rod. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." I love that. When something matters to you, use your voice to make a positive change. When we speak in a positive and helpful way about the things that matter to us, we win over the hearts and minds of others. Please don't make the mistake of being negative or rude to make your point. Now, that may have an instant impact, but the long-lasting effect will almost always be less. You cannot force people to see things your way. If you push people, they will move, but only temporarily. Move their hearts, and they stay moved. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. In conversations about healthier diets, salt usually gets mentioned in connection with negative effects of over-consuming this mineral. But it's important to remember that when we don't get enough salt, our vitality, energy, and athletic performance suffer. Lack of this mineral increases stress hormones and noradrenaline. Low-salt diets also increase heart rate, activate the sympathetic nervous system, and worsen sleep. Not getting enough salt can lead to higher insulin and glucose levels, which occurs because insulin helps the kidneys to actually retain more salt. When choosing the best type of salt in stores, it's best to look for rock salts from dried up oceans to eliminate micro and nanoplastics that are very common in most products we see on the store shelves today. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, trying to be something for sure as we are talking. Anyways, currently 55 minutes past the top of the hour, meaning that I am running ongo as we are talking. So let's get into some stuff real quick, and we can get you the hell out of here if you're so inclined to do so. If you're looking at some things that happened back on this date, let's find some of those for you real quick. If we're taking a look at back at 2019, suspected domestic terrorist shoots and kills 22 and injures another 24 at a Walmart store in El Paso. Patrick Wood, 21, is arrested for the massacre and charged with capital murder. The attack is described as the deadliest attack on Latinos in modern American history. That happened back on this day, if you're trying to figure that out. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let me give you some of those. Tom Brady turns 45 today. Martha Stewart turns 81, and Tony Bennett turns 96. Just in case you were looking. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, National Watermelon Day and National Grab Some Nuts Day. Hey now, there you go. So that's some days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? What would you do if you won the lottery? New house, new car, quit your job? One thing that most of us wouldn't do is tell others, even our own family, according to a new poll. A survey over 1,100 people commissioned by Play Pennsylvania looked at people's lottery playing habits and how they would react to hitting a jackpot. 83% said that they would keep their winnings a secret to avoid the outstretched hands of friends and families. On the other hand, 88% said that they would donate the money and giving a slice to charity or relatives in need. And interestingly, 2% said that they would walk away from their significant other if they were a big winner. Hold on, was your spouse with you when you said this? Yeah, I'd walk away from my wife if I won the lottery. I mean, that's kind of a jacked up thing to say, or your husband or whatever. But I guess, you have to do whatever is in your circumstance. That is for sure. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, judging from my experience as a child, if a mother is laughing at the father's jokes, it means they have guessed. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the funniest or oddest surname you've ever heard in your life? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. For some reason, this item is given as a gift more often than it is purchased for ourselves. What is it? A blender. Out of all things, a blender. A blender, whatever. So there you go. Anyways, this is going to sum up our show for today. Thank you for hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. If you want to hang out for a little bit longer, you're more than welcome on doing so by hanging out here at safety.fm, or you can come over to radiobig.fm as we will do our music side of the house, doing the stuff at the side of the world of music and entertainment and talking about everything that is going on there, because that's what we tend to do on that side. That's radiobig.fm. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Without you, we could not do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. When things go bad, don't go with them. Think about it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Loving you was such a bliss. That is something I will miss. How do you feel for one more kiss? Loving you was such a bliss. We're not talking anymore. It's like we're scared of trying. So different from when we started.